and welcome back to the Velvet Coffin. I'm your host, Vivienne Von Dread, with your Daily Dread. And today, we have a special treat for you all, a very special story with a guest reader. Enjoy.
Today's story is titled, It Til Dawn, and will be read by our guest reader, Makayla McIntosh. Enjoy.
Never one to back down from a dare, I accepted the challenge without hesitation. You're really going to do it? Maryland, the redhead queen bee of all things social, the reigning student body president of our liberal arts college and even smaller lives, didn't seem convinced by my bold declaration. You're not scared, Andrew? That's hard to believe. I always think of you as being so timid. Before I could answer, Charles, a super smart, super hot parapsychology major that I had been not so secretly stalking for the semester, chimed in for me. Andrew will have nothing to be afraid of since I'll be there with him, he boasted, in a slightly smug and very subtle alpha male manner that didn't seem to suit his sweet nature. While I hated his name, I loved his face, including the black frame glasses he wore that made him look like a modern-day hybrid of Clark Kent and Buddy Holly. Charles, dark-haired and dark-eyed, looked like he'd been drawn by the masterful hand of an Italian painter. I, on the other hand, looked like something from an unfinished comic strip. Maryland plusher collegiate minions didn't seem satisfied, as Charles and I were responded to with an on-point display of eye-rolling and sneers. We'll see how long you both last, in that house and otherwise. You won't make it until midnight, let alone dawn. The house she was referring to was a Gothic icon on the outside of town. We called it Ghost Toast because of the urban legend that the ghosts who inhabited the place made a clinking toast of champagne glasses right before they possessed and destroyed the innocent souls of their trespassing victims. Palatial and impressive in all manners, sight and size, the house was surrounded by dead fields and murders of black crows. Long since abandoned by a bizarre family who allegedly disappeared from the face of the earth without reason or cause, it was now a major attraction in town and a frequent subject of local folklore. And the place I had just agreed to spend an entire night in with Charles, the bespectacled object of my long silent desires. Well, more like a semester, but still, I was crushing on him hard. I stole a glance at Charles from across the outdoor picnic table where we sat at. I knew it was his favorite place to hang out on breaks in between classes. It was a quiet spot nestled beneath a canopy of redwood trees. It wasn't sheer coincidence. I just happened to be at this spot during those breaks. Not that I had his class schedule memorized or anything. On that particular day, I'd finally summoned up the nerve to ask Charles out once and for all with no idea what our first date would look like. Not much thought was put into it because I honestly didn't think he'd accept my invitation to spend time together outside of our on-purpose meetups at the shaded picnic table beneath the trees. The mood would have been very chill and very romantic except for the uninvited, sudden presence of my beautiful and well-dressed nemesis and her motley crew of less fashionable sorority sisters. "Be there," Marilyn instructed, with both hands on her mini-skirted hips for dramatic flair. "Friday at sundown. Bring nothing with you but your courage." I stood and stepped forward in the same melodramatic style Marilyn exemplified, more for the sake of imitation than respect. That's all I need. She gave me one last look of disbelief before heading to the college coffee shop where I knew her drink of choice was a triple-shot cappuccino because I worked there. Sitting back down, reality kicked in. Wait, what did I just agree to? "Are you sure you're up for this?" Charles asked. The doubt in his voice made me question if it was me he didn't have faith in or himself. "You do realize we have absolutely nothing to prove to Maryland or anyone." "It's just one night," I said. "And it's just a place. I mean, how scary can that house be?" Apparently it could be terrifying. Within moments of standing in the cobwebbed-covered grand foyer of the decaying mansion, Charles and I watched from a floor-to-ceiling, mostly broken window as the sun slid beneath the backs of the deserted fields. Night covered us like pillowcase being slipped over our heads before being tossed into the back of an unmarked van. It's getting dark in here, I say, stating the obvious. We'll be okay. No, we won't, I countered. Ancient furniture welcomed us with their stuffing, waving hello. The squeak of a mouse or a few hundred emanated from the walls. Once clean maple wood flooring now resembled the ink blood-stained flooring of a morgue. A chandelier a quarter off its hinges, just waiting for its next victim. You might be right. This place is a horror show, he noted. We stared at each other, fear of reflecting in both of our eyes. Already I wanted to ask him to hold me, but decided the moment was too soon. It was then I cursed myself for not being smart enough to eat something before crossing the threshold of creepiness. I scanned my memory to determine the last thing I'd eaten resembling any form of nourishment was a bowl of soggy cereal that morning. My stomach growled. It craved. Okay, I craved a bag of potato chips and an iced coffee and a flashlight. Most definitely a flashlight. Let's try to look beyond the frightening, Charles suggested with a gust of new optimism. What do you mean? Okay, we both agree this place looks like something straight out of a nightmare. True, I agreed. But beneath the terror, there's beauty. I looked around at our surroundings. Sorry, I said. I don't see it. I'm waiting for Dracula and his blood-sucking buddies to make an appearance any second now. If I die first, just know I think it's really cool that you agreed to be here with me. Look closer, he instructed. I did, desperately trying to see what Charles was seeing. I considered lying just to make him feel better. Since I was convinced we were just a few more dates away from marriage proposal, I opted for honesty. You obviously are seeing this house from a different point of view than I am. Okay, then try this, he said. Imagine what this place was like 50 or 100 years ago, before it was abandoned. Finally, I understood what he meant. It was truly grand, I said. It possibly took a person's breath away when they walked in through the front door and stood in this very spot. The chandelier probably wasn't broken then. I saw something move from the corner of my eye. Turning in that direction, I felt the blood drain from my face. And things probably don't move on their own. Charles followed my stare. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? I asked. You're talking about the face in the painting on the wall closing and opening its eyes? Yeah, I see it too. Oh, good, I said. For a moment, I thought I was hallucinating. Maybe we both are. That statement eased some of my adolescent fear. For whatever it's worth, Charles, I think you're a really awesome guy. You're pretty cool yourself, Andrew. We decided to sit at the base of the broken staircase. The rickety steps heading up to the second floor was a place I knew I shouldn't venture to. When Charles, who apparently suffered from an explorer's heart, suggested we go up there to look around, I recommended staying put for the time being. Maybe all night, if I had it my way. Reluctantly, he joined me on the dirty floor. We sat face to face, both smiling with that nervous energy you feel when you're unsure of what to do or say. Can I ask you a question? He asked. I nodded, of course. Well, why did you accept Marilyn's dare? She's been out to get me since we met at freshman orientation, I explained. It seems that she was in love with a boy I had poetry class with, and because he liked me instead of her, she's carried a personal vendetta ever since. Pretty sure she's hoping I die tonight. Or get so scared I'd cave and run from this house of horrors screaming into the night, or even worse, embarrass myself in front of Charles. I won't let that happen, he said. My eyes drifted to his very kissable mouth. I realized I was staring. You always like to look at me. I always catch you staring. I think it's sweet. Do you? Do I? My face felt hot from both lust and embarrassment. I think we both know I'm happy you're here with me. He smiled. I was hoping that was the case. I'm happy I'm here with you, too. Even if stuff is moving on its own, the people who last lived here disappeared like the victims of an alien abduction, I pressed. Yes, he said, still grinning. Even so. I've driven by this place a gazillion times, I said. I never thought I'd actually be inside of it, let alone spend a night here. It's important to separate fact from fiction, he reminded me. There's truth, and then there's myth. Sometimes folklore is just that. Sometimes folklore is just that. You sound like a professor. Not yet, he said, but maybe one day. What about you? What do you want to do? I just want to make it till dawn, still be alive when the sun comes up. I'm suddenly realizing I have a lot to live for. Oh yeah? He said. Like what? We leaned in, and just when I thought I was going to experience a movie-like moment on the scale of 16 candles, we heard the sound. It wasn't just any sound, but the distinct melody of champagne glasses kissing to an echoing toast. It sent shivers down my spine. Our eyes lifted to the top of the staircase. The sound came from above us. Someone or something was up there. Footsteps. Did you hear that? Charles asked, knowing very well by the look of sheer terror plastered on my face that I had. You believe in this stuff, right? I mean, you study it. It's your thing, I said. I mean, the fact part of it, not the fiction. I believe there are ghosts all around us, he explained, in a very matter-of-fact book report tone. Parapsychology is a fascinating field. I hope to make a name for myself in it one day. I hope you propose to me before you do. Our attention shifted to the sound of music coming from another room on the main level of the house. Someone was playing a jazzy number on a piano. The music drifted toward us. The musty air carried the haunting tune to our ears. I think I need to go investigate, Charles said, standing. He offered a hand and helped me up to my feet. Do we have to? I bargained. I have absolutely no desire to see any other part of this mausoleum. I'm good with sitting here until sunrise. Is that cool? Come on, he urged. There's so much to see. And besides that, we have each other. And the night is still young, and so are we. Nervously, I followed him through what felt like a maze of narrow, dark corridors until we reached the double-door entrance to another room. Charles reached out and pushed the doors wide open. They creaked to life, revealing a high-ceilinged formal ballroom. The music stopped the second we stepped inside. We froze in our steps. There's no piano in this room, Charles noted. Where did the music go? Maybe back to hell, I suggested. The ghosts, they brought us to this room. They wanted us to be in here, to see it, to feel it. I felt fine in the other room, I offered. Curious, I scanned our surroundings. There was nothing in sight but old round tables and elegant chairs. The table sat untouched, yet each was covered with a linen tablecloth and formal dinner settings, remnants of what I'm sure was an elaborate dinner party populated by our town's finest. This room is even creepier than the others, I decided. It looks like someone was hosting a dinner party and all the guests vanished before dessert was served, like they never made it out of here alive. Yeah, Charles agreed. I see what you mean. It's strange, though. I don't remember reading about a dinner party and something happening at once. Wait, did you research this place before we got here? He smiled. Of course. To my surprise, Charles reached over and held my hand, leading me to the center of the checkered-floored room. Shall we dance? Shall we dance? He asked in a pseudo-British accent that made me swoon and think of Jane Austen and her Mr. Darcy. Perhaps, if we do, Charles continued, we might keep these pesky ghosts at bay. I don't know, I said, sliding my arms up and around his neck, pulling his swaying body close to mine. Ghost Host has been their house for a very long time. I feel like we're intruding. We're uninvited. I just hope they go easy on us for doing so. A glimmer of an idea flashed in Charles' dark eyes. Maybe someday this will be ours. His words hung in the air between us like an invisible third dance partner. I wanted and needed clarification. What do you mean by that? We stopped dancing. I have an offer to make you. I'm listening. Let's do whatever we have to do to make it through this night. Together. In the morning, you can tell Marilyn what you really think of her, and I think you will have one heck of a story to share with my professor in the form of the best written capstone project ever. You sound very sure of yourself, Charles. Yes, he agreed. But that's probably your fault. It's the effect you have on me. I gave him a look. I affect you? He nodded. Once this night is behind us, will you consider giving me and you a fair chance? At what? I don't know. Going out? Being together? That sort of thing? Are you asking me out on a date? Yes, I am. That's kind of why I'm here with you. I didn't think I'd have the nerve to ask you otherwise. You agreed to spend a night in a haunted house with me just to work up the courage to ask me out? He grinned. I fought the temptation to kiss him with every shred of resistance I had. Yes, he said. And because I love ghosts. You're adorable, I said. And the answer is yes. Good. He paused for a brief moment. Hey, are you really afraid? Oh, I'm terrified, I admitted. Yeah, he said. I am too. Charles pulled me to him, and our mouths met in a gentle first kiss. The moment felt like a delicate embrace. I opened my eyes and stared deeply into his. Around us, I heard a symphony of champagne glasses touching in a ghostly celebration. I smiled at Charles. Morning can't come soon enough for me. Yes, he said. But in the meantime, we have the night. It seems like only yesterday when Maryland and her minions finally gave up pestering me, the dare was won. And to this day, years later, Charles and I returned to celebrate our first kiss on our anniversary and to share a dance with the ghosts of the Ghost Toast.
Ooh, spooky and romantic. Thank you, Makayla, for reading our story today. Once again, today's story is titled Make It Till Dawn by award-winning writer Wren Valentino. Wren Valentino is the best-selling author of several novels, poetry collections, short stories, stage plays, and produced screenplays. He writes in multiple genres, primarily romance, thriller, young adult, and horror. His literary work has appeared in over 100 publications, and now in the Velvet Coffin. Thank you, Wren, for sharing your story with us. And thank you, Makayla, for reading it. And thank you for coming to visit us today at the Velvet Coffin. I'm your host, Vivienne Von Dread, with your Daily Dread. Now, goodbye. Get out. See you tomorrow.